good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Make sure you guys follow us on the Facebook page. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2 and also on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. I'm Trey Frazier. That's the homie Maestro Styles right over there.
Yes, sir.
And we got a special guest in the building. He is the host of the Enough with the BS podcast and also is the CEO of Sports and Culture Sports Media. We like to welcome Tyler Butler to the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. Tyler, what's good, man? What's going on?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thank y'all again for having me on. I appreciate it.
No doubt, no
Yes,
doubt.
sir.
So let's get into this because, you know, you and I, we're friends on Facebook, and I always enjoy the opportunity and the fact that I get the sports news from you first before ESPN or Fox Sports or any one of those, you know, major media outlets gets it. So tell us about the journey with your media company and, you know, what you had to do and how long it took to really, you know, get your company up off the ground.
Yeah, well, thank you for that question. Honestly, we only been in existence for 2 years. I started it 2 years ago. I started off as an intern at a local radio station for ESPN Upstate,
Mm-hmm.
and they just had me covering the NFL. But I knew I could do a lot more than just NBA topics. But around here, don't nobody really, according to that radio station, nobody really listens to the NBA. So I was kind of just there to just be there. But I took advantage of my time there. So all the guests that they would have coming on the show, I would follow them on Twitter and then use them as like contacts. And when I decided, when my intern was up and they didn't have anything else for me to do, I was like, I can do this myself. So I saved up some money, started a GoFundMe, bought an LLC, and then I started covering like local schools here and there in the upstate. And what got me a lot of connections was covering these small schools because NFL and NBA scouts will actually come there. I just go talk to them, tell them what I want to do. They'll see that I'm genuinely and focused about my craft, exchange contact information, and boom, now you got scouts and insiders just from going to local schools. So I got all that started and they just feed me information, find a really good guy here and there, and I get a lot of information before ESPN get it.
Now, to confirm your location, you're located in South Carolina, right?
Yes, I'm in Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a great school to get some insider scoop from scouts and things like that.
Yeah, see, I guess we're, around here, the closest school is Clemson, and then there's South Carolina about 2 hours away. I don't even touch those schools because media-wise, everybody go to them. So I go to the Furmans, the North Greenville College, Legacy Early High School, which chucks out a lot of NBA players. Nick Claxton plays for the Brooklyn Nets. He came from Legacy, so I got to talk to him right here in Greenville. So I attack all the little schools, talk to the NFL scouts, man, and you'll be amazed how many people would just give you information.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. So dope. Look. So is it really just as simple? And I'm asking specifically because as me and Trey has been working and building the podcast, I can't speak for Trey, but I can speak for me. I get a lot of, man, just go to the high schools and start talking to people. Just start covering local, and I know you're speaking about college specifically, but they say go to the schools and just start talking to people, and you'll be surprised on what kind of information you'll find just by talking to the locals. So that's truly just been a recipe that's worked for you?
Yeah, absolutely, man, because that's where I started off at, on the high school level, covering Carolina High School and Legacy High School, because, like I say, scouts will be there and parents, especially talk to the parents, because you'll be amazed how many people they know, especially with the AAU circuit. It seemed like everybody is connected. And from covering a high school, I connected with this training facility called D1 of Greenville. And D1 is really been the ultimate blessing because they've put me on to this guy named Ramon Robinson, who's a quarterback legend here in upstate. But Ramon is connected all over the NFL. So he started this group called the QB Legacy, and I'm connected with them and now starting to do interviews with each individual. They have Ron Veal, who coaches Trevor Lawrence, and also Justin Fields. There's another coach who's the quarterback coach of Lamar Jackson. I'm talking to BJ Hall today. He's also another quarterback coach. So all that is from starting off on the high school level and just gradually making connections.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Now, now you've been doing your podcast, Enough with the BS podcast. You've been doing that for how long now?
Man, I think we're on year 5.
Man, wow. Congrats, man. That's a lot of time for a podcast.
Thank you, Maestro.
Me and Maestro, we've been doing this. This is going on year 6 for us. So it's
congrats to you guys.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Over 200 episodes and counting. So I know how much hard work it is to put a podcast together, as you well know. So you're a Chicago Bulls fan, am I right?
Yeah, die hard.
Well, so how do you feel about the most recent trade for what's the guy from Orlando, Vucevic?
Vucevic. It was needed, man. Zach LaVine he's coming up for another contract, and they had to do something to keep him happy, to let him know that they are committed to him. Because there was so many, rumors about Zach was getting traded here and there.
Yep.
I think that was a move to let you know that, hey, Zach, we're with you. Not only are we with you, we're willing to get you some help. The future picks kind of hurt, but I mean, they're top 4 protected, so that was smart. Lose Wendell, that's not really a big loss. Wendell was never really available, and there seemed to be some locker room issues there. So what they lost out and what they brought back in, I was extremely satisfied.
Are the Bulls making the playoffs?
I think they're going to make it as that play-in tournament. Like, with the 9th and 10th seed play in to get into the playoffs. I think they're going to make it there. I don't see them squeaking in 1 through 8 because they're inconsistent.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Because the 7 and the 10 seed, so what, is that like a 1 game, like winner take all kind of a thing?
Yeah, I haven't really been looking. I think it is like a 1 game or a best out of 3 or something like that, just to get in the playoffs.
Man, tell me about Zach LaVine, man. And you mentioned it. It seems like he is he's the guy right now. Like I don't he's always been good. Like I remember him in Minnesota. He was cool. He was bubbling. It seemed like this year, it seemed like a switch flipped on the outside looking in. I don't pretend to follow the Bulls like probably you do, but it seemed like a switch flipped this year. Like, tell me what's going on with Zach LaVine. Like, what's different?
Yeah. Zach finally got a head coach who believes in him. He had so many in Minnesota. I mean, he went through, I believe, like 3 or 4 in Chicago. And with that last coach we had, like, Jesus Christ, he didn't know anything about lineups or nothing. So,
who's that? Hoiberg, right?
No, it wasn't Hoiberg. It was I don't forgot his name.
But it was after Hoiberg because I don't think Hoiberg lasted. Yeah, I don't think Hoiberg lasted 2 years, maybe.
He lasted a couple of years, and I mean, Hoiberg, every season that he was there, we made the playoffs.
That's true.
That.
I mean, off the back of that Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler situation, I guess because that was after Derrick Rose had got hurt.
Yeah,
and your boy left. What was that? Was that Thibodeau? No, the coach. Thibodeau. Because Thibodeau had kind of left a culture over there that kind of got them in the playoffs. Because I remember you remember that because Hoiberg and Butler was beefing.
Yeah, that was, man.
Right. Yeah. I remember that.
And that coach, his name was Jim Bolin.
Yeah.
Clown.
I remember that.
Straight clown.
I remember the one year they had Rondo. and they could have upset the Celtics in that first round that one
Yeah,
year.
that was
Absolutely.
that was that whole that wasn't
Yep, that was
that
the
year
last year
also.
of Jim Harbaugh.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they looked
So
surprisingly good that year.
yeah, so do you feel like Zach LaVine is like I mean, we ain't talking about him being like LeBron status and nothing like that, but do you think he's going to be the next like franchise player for the Bulls that can maybe bring some smoke in the playoffs? Not maybe this year, but next 2-3 years maybe.
Yeah, man, he's the face now. Offensively, Zach
Yeah.
can do whatever he wants.
Right.
This year, he definitely took a different leap, but it's Billy Donovan placing that faith into him. You could see it like here and there over the years, but this year the confidence has risen. He's on a mission. Excuse me. He wanted to make the All-Star team. He did. But I mean, we all know Zach for his athletic prowess. But this year, like his jump shot is pure. He
Yeah.
has a fadeaway, a 15-foot game. And now he's starting to see, like, when I was telling people earlier, the difference I see in Zach this year from last year, everything looks effortless. Like it's so easy to him what he's doing out there on the court. He just gotta. So he has a lot of off games, but the Bulls have a lot more pieces. I mean, they bought in the center,
Yeah.
three other people in the trade, so they just got to get used to playing with each other right now.
Well, I think it's fair to assess that they still got pieces missing as well, though. It's not like this is
we need a point guard.
Yeah, they definitely got pieces missing. It's not like we talking about this team is ready for a serious playoff run yet, but you have to. I think it was important to acknowledge. Me and Trey did All-Star projections, before the All-Star game, and I was like, I can't imagine this All-Star game without Zach LaVine, and I didn't hear a whole bunch of people talking about him around here in our area as far as guys that was having a good year. But Zach LaVine, for me, and in the little basketball that I have been watching this year, because I ain't gonna hold you, with all this going on in the world, the last thing be on my mind a lot of times be let me sit back, drink a brew, and watch NBA. But Zach LaVine had definitely been on my radar. So I think y'all got a piece for certain, and I hope they continue to build around him.
Yeah, I think it is. The GM, he already said after all those trades, he was like, don't think I'm done. So I think in the offseason, because they tried to get Lonzo Ball in the trade, but the Pelicans wanted another first-round pick, and they kind of had exasperated those, making that trade with Orlando.
Right.
So I think in the offseason, they're probably going to go after Lonzo Ball again. We need a floor general.
Yeah, and that would be good. A young boy like Lonzo, that would be good.
Yeah, here's how much respect I have for Zach LaVine. So there was a game between the Bulls and the Knicks, and I'm a Knicks fan, by the way. And it was a really tight game in the fourth quarter. And in my head, I'm like, we're probably going to lose this game because number one, the Bulls have Zach LaVine and the Knicks don't. That's kind of really how I, looked at that particular game, and that's how much respect I do have for Zach LaVine's game.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, he is so great this year. It's just everything is literally it's so easy. But if he had a playmaking point guard beside him, I think that'll take his game to another level because he's having to do so much on his own. He just needs somebody who can set him up. Kobe is great, but Kobe is more like a Lou Williams type guard. He's not a point guard at all.
Right. And that's Kobe Hamilton.
Kobe White.
White, I'm sorry, from UNC, right?
Yep, came from North Carolina.
Yeah, right. I'm thinking Kobe Hamilton. That's the cat that used to play wide receiver for the Steelers for
Man, well, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was honestly, I wanted to know what his football team was, so we could talk about.
Yeah, I was just about to ask him because I know he's a big Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan.
Okay,
unfortunately.
I mean, look, man. For all I ain't gonna lie to you, man. For all the, bullshit that be going on in Dallas, y'all still got a roster right now
Yeah,
that can make noise. So I mean, I think for me, of course, and I'm a Steelers fan, but of course, if I would love to be in your position right now as a fan. Even though I don't care for all the theatrics and all that, I would love to look at my team and say, man, I think we really got a squad that could go to the Super Bowl in my conference. And I think Dallas is closer to saying that in their conference than Pittsburgh is saying that in their conference.
yeah, I agree with you, man. I remember I look at myself more as a realistic Cowboy fan. And
Mm-hmm.
with Dak and Zeke were rookies, I said, okay, in about 5 or 6 years, this team will be Super Bowl contenders. And we're looking at, I think, year 6 right now. So I think
Mm-hmm.
this is the year that you'll see some maturity out of Dak and Zeke. I know he's coming off that gruesome injury. I'm a little concerned about that, but all the reports are saying that he's pretty much back to 100%. He'll be ready to go come training camp. And the NFC East is one of the worst divisions in the league. Dallas has a historically bad defense, but they have a historically great offense. So I'm just hoping that it's going to elevate them at least to win the NFC East. And when you get to the playoffs, you just never know.
Well, Tyler, I think the defense is going to be better this year because them hiring Mike Nolan from the previous offseason, and I forgot Mike Nolan even existed before then, that he made that defense bad because with those players the year prior, they weren't that bad. So for me, you take him out of the equation now, and they should be better than what they were last year. I mean, they were 32nd, so they gotta be better. There's no choice for them to. Oh, there's no way else to go but up. You know what I'm saying? So
or stay right there.
I have a hard time believing they're gonna stay right there.
The thing is, man, to me, I didn't see not one improvement in the offseason so far for the defense. They bought in 2 safeties from Atlanta because, we got Dan Quinn now. Mm-hmm. But Atlanta secondary was the worst in the NFL. Trash. Yeah, it was literally the last ranked defense in the NFL as far as pass defense. So we bought in both of their safeties. They didn't address the linebacker issue. Our number 1 run stopper, Tyron Crawford, retired. We didn't address that. And we lost our number 1 pass rusher, which is Alden Smith, because of reportedly drug-related issues. So they didn't do anything. We're going to see, I guess, in a couple of weeks what they do in the draft, man. But somehow I just got this feeling if Pitts is available at number 10, Jerry's going with the tight end out of Florida.
and I gotta disagree, Tyler. They did do something. They got rid of Mike Nolan's ass, but
addition by subtraction, right?
Yeah, there you go. But I'll say this though. I think Dan Quinn is a better defensive coordinator than he is a head coach. So the fact that he's going to be focused solely on the defense the way he was in Seattle. Look what the Legion of Boom became because of Dan Quinn. Now look at him in Dallas as in part. I agree, Maestro, in part. But look at him as the D coordinator now for the Cowboys, and I think you have. And this is why I say I don't think they're going to stay where they are. I think they're going to improve because of Dan Quinn coordinating that defense. And then
and sure, I agree with you. I was being facetious when they said they could just be stagnant, but when you say they're going to improve projection wise, like where would they have to be in your opinion to be? Let's just get straight to it. What kind of defense would they have to be ranked or play to be Super Bowl contenders? Because I mean, I think with the age of Dak Prescott, the age of Zeke, and like this is kind of the prime time for where their stars are in their prime. They should be getting ready to go. They should be trying to get to the Super Bowl right now.
Yes.
So what? How good does this defense have to be in order to help out that offense and have a shot to play with the Packers or the Saints or the Buccaneers, obviously,
Yeah. If they rank from 10 to 15,
So I
that'll
was
be
gonna say,
good. That would be great if they could rank from 10 to 15 in the league.
yeah, if Dallas can get to top 15 defense, that's absolutely a Super Bowl contender because of the offense. But my expectation is just get to 20 because 20
Yeah.
is better than 32. If you can get to 20, their offense is going to average 30 points a game. If you can hold opponents to 24, we winning. The only problem is, last year we was averaging 30 a game, but we was giving up 35.
Right.
So if
Right.
they can at least hold a team to 24 points a game, I can see them with a good record. And kind of, to piggyback off what you were saying, Trey, I do think they'll improve some because under Chris Richard, it was a pretty solid defense. And Chris Richard learned all his techniques up under Dan Quinn. So I'm hoping them going back and kind of reverting back to where they were up under Marinelli and Richard, they get a little bit better, a little more comfortable. Last year it was a cluster, man. You could tell the players had no idea what the hell was going on.
Tyler, is this receiving core for the Cowboys the best in the league?
I don't think that. I think that's 100. I know you ain't asked me, but I think that's. I can't think of a better receiver core off the top of my head.
I'm telling you, man, it's at least top 3.
Mm-hmm. You could throw the Bucks in there too, being top.
Yeah, I mean the Bucks. I like what Buffalo got over there, but Dallas, man, talent wise, if Cooper can stay healthy, that's the number one caveat. He gets banged up a lot.
Yeah,
but you got Cooper. Micah Gallup is probably the most underrated receiver in the league, especially as a deep threat. And with CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee didn't even supposed to be there. He's really, he had an excellent rookie season. You almost had 3 receivers with over 1,000 yards without Dak Prescott being there. So yeah, I do.
And that would have been, and it would have been, and that would have been the second year in a row them doing it.
Yeah, so I think this is at least top 3 wide receiver core in the league. Talent-wise, probably the best receiving core in the league. And we just got offensive line has a lot of question marks. A lot.
Yeah.
And that's
it's funny how it's funny how fast it goes, how fast, because maybe 3 years ago we was talking about the Dallas Cowboys having maybe one of the best offensive lines in the league. And it's always funny to me how fast that offensive line can change. And I guess that's at every skill position, but I say it's a personal conversation for me because I remember about 3 years ago when Pittsburgh maybe had one of the better offensive lines in the game, and then here we are, and we doing all this quick passing bullshit.
Yeah, you have to protect Ben.
Yeah,
but
right.
I've never seen that many injuries on a team. Dallas was decimated across the board by injuries last year, but offensive line was number one. You had Frederick retire, so there's your All-Pro center just gone.
Yep.
They lost Lyle Collins for the season before the season even started. That's your Pro Bowl right tackle. Left tackle, Tyron Smith's body is breaking down. Like, I really think Dallas needs to draft a tackle and look to move on from Smith. But his body can't hold up any longer. The best offensive lineman you have on the team was Zach Martin. Zach Martin went down, so they lost him. Now, once in the left guard position, they didn't know who was coming and going. So they were switching out offensive linemen all season long. The entire offensive line, you're not going to win any games if you lose all your starters in the season.
Yeah, 100%.
So predictions for the Cowboys in your eyes, Tyler. What are you looking at in terms of the division? They win the NFC East, right?
Only thing they have to win is 9 games, and you win the division. That division. Just give me 9 wins. 10 would be a success if you ask me. But 9-10 wins for Dallas next season. I wouldn't go no higher than that. So my hopes for Dallas is diminishing.
Although I would say be on the lookout for the Giants. If you say 9 wins is enough, I think the Giants have improved themselves, particularly on the offensive side.
Absolutely. I like the Giants. I think that's the sleeper team in the division. Washington, we'll see what Fitzpatrick gonna do down there.
Yeah, better wide receiver. This is I had this I had this question asked to me one day this week. Terry McLaurin or Amari Cooper, better wide receiver.
Ugh. I like Coop, man. Coop can do anything. If he has his head in the game, that's his number one flaw. Like, I think mentally sometimes he checks out. But when he's focused, like, you can put Cooper anywhere on the field, and he's going to make it happen.
I just wanted to know what you thought. I've heard some interesting conversations about Terry McLaurin possibly being the best wide receiver in that division. So I wanted to know.
Maestro, what do you think?
I think Terry McLaurin is a very good wide receiver. I would be interested to see what he looks like with a viable quarterback. So I
agree with that.
He's a dog right now. Let's be very clear. He's a dog right now.
Right.
But I would love to see him with a quarterback before. I mean, at the end of the day, Amari Cooper has Dak Prescott. But right now he hungry. Terry McLaurin hungry right now.
Yeah, I would say it's Amari Cooper only because I've seen a lot more of Amari Cooper. And I think to your point, he has a quarterback and Terry McLaurin still waiting for that guy to throw him the rock. And it'll be interesting to see, if, Fitzpatrick can do that.
But if you put in my arm to make a decision, right now, forget, obviously, Amari's been in the game longer, and so with certain things that we need to see from McLaurin, but McLaurin looking like a dog right now. I would give the slight edge if you're just talking about what I'm seeing on the field. I would give the slight edge to Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I have to go with Coop. I'm going to say IQ wise, because from a route running ability, he's probably the best route runner in the NFL.
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, running routes.
That's a strong
running route. I love Diggs. I'll throw Diggs up there. But I'm telling you, running routes, if you just look at them, break down the film and take a look, Amari Cooper route running is grade A. It's just it's all up here, man. He checks out too much. That's the only thing I don't like about him.
Right.
Yeah, and that's key because I mean he had those same issues in Oakland. I get Oakland was a terrible team and all those things, but he's had those issues in his career about people saying that maybe he ain't in the game, his head not in the game. I'm gonna say right now, and like I said, I won't hold too much. I won't put too much stock in it for Terry McLaurin because his career is so young. But right now, that boy is a dog.
I like him. I was very concerned when the Giants picked him up. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I wasn't too happy about it, son.
So, Tyler, I got one last question for you. I want to get your thoughts on, and just kind of quickly, just the status of what's going on with the Deshaun Watson case. We know up to this point that 2 women have come forward over the weekend to speak and give their statements. And as a matter of fact, I was just talking to another podcaster about this over the weekend that the lawyer that's representing these guys, Tony Busby, I think is his name, he actually IG lived their entire statements, which I've never seen from an attorney ever. I've never seen that before. So up to this point now, and I think they're being forced to have more women come forward, if I'm not mistaken. Well, give us your thoughts on, how this situation is going down and what do you think is eventually going to be the end result here?
Man, I'm going to try not to be long-winded with this, but when I tell you I'm all over the place, I'm all over the place with this. Because here, being in South Carolina, I know a lot of people at Clemson. I know a lot of people who know Deshaun personally. I talk to them. But it's so weird, man, because you got one side, okay, Deshaun basically went back to Houston and told him he does not want to be there for the second time. Immediately after that meeting, all these allegations just drop out of the sky.
Yep.
That's questionable. The lawyer is known as this public lawyer that loves attention, and now he's putting everything in the forefront on Instagram. Like, yeah, I sat and watched an entire hearing for him, and people were making allegations on Instagram, and that's like, when does that ever happen?
You lack coof. I'm sorry, and maybe this is the world changing, but I definitely that is some of the most retarded. I don't have coof type of situations I have ever heard in my life, and maybe it's just me being old and the world changing, but that blew my mind.
It threw me off, man. And then there's like, okay, if it's really that severe, and you have 22 women, and now he's talking about he has up to 50. But they just haven't came forward. Why have there not been any criminal charges before? None. Out of all the 50 women, no one went to the police. You have Busby talking about he has all this information and all these, all the evidence, but he won't turn it over to the Houston authorities because he said that the lawyer of Deshaun has like a son or some relative that works for the Houston Police Department. So he thinks that's going to corrupt the investigation.
Conflict.
He's going to take it. Yeah, and he thinks he's going to take it as well, but legally, you can't take that information anywhere else. The city of Houston has jurisdiction. You have to turn it into them. So it's that cluster stuff. But over the weekend, and we actually, I just did a whole breakdown on the podcast yesterday. There was a lot of stuff that came out of like leaked DMs from Deshaun to these alleged girls. And from what I read, it just did not look good. Like, of course, there was admitting of he did have sexual encounters with some of the girls. The biggest thing right now is they're trying to place sex trafficking on Deshaun, which could be federal charges.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and that concerns me. So the breakdown, and I don't have my notes in front of me, but kind of in a nutshell, how they can get them in federal charges. The number one thing is recruiting. They said that him flying these girls in, buying Ubers for them to meet him somewhere, that fits up under the recruiting. Number two is, man, I wish I had that in front of me, and I don't. I broke it all the way down. I think number two was him abusing his power. And they said like vulnerability. The lawyer was trying to say that the girls were single mothers and they were just using this to, take care of their kids. Yeah, and Deshaun was using his plight as an NFL quarterback to make them do things that they really didn't want to do. So everything that they have up under there fits up underneath the sex trafficking law.
Wow.
So if they can prove it, they can get them up under sex trafficking, which is a federal offense, and it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good at all.
Damn.
I wonder if.
Man,
give me 1 second. I think I might have them notes, man, because I want to break it down.
I want you to, man, but we about to run out of time.
Oh yeah, that's all good.
It's
a lot.
God.
Yeah. We need another segment for this one.
Go to Enough with the BS podcast. It's the last show I did. I have the full break. It's a lot, but it does not look good.
Oh man.
Okay.
And I was just gonna hit you with my, me and Trey been kind of echoing the same sentiment since this has been going on. Like, it seems like a setup, but if emphatically he did any of these things, he should pay the penance. And whoever is setting him up, if it comes out he's innocent, they should pay the penance. Women who seem to clearly be pawns in that situation, if it finds out this is all just a setup, they should pay penance, and the people responsible for putting the pawn pieces on the chess board should be held accountable for their actions if emphatically this is all made up bullshit. But that don't sound great for Deshaun Watson.
I got a quick
it
question
don't.
for y'all though, man, because I don't want to hold up your time. Why was he bringing massage tables and equipment to these girls? Because they weren't even licensed, from what I found out. And he was bringing equipment from the Texan facility to them.
I ain't gonna
Like,
lie.
none of this
I
is
couldn't
making
tell
no
you,
sense.
man. I couldn't
You
tell
try.
you.
You like. You just like in a nutshell. You dropped the bomb, man. I didn't know that it was that bad. I ain't gonna
I'm
lie
telling
to
you, man,
you.
go to the podcast, bro. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
we would need a whole nother 30 minutes.
Oh, no doubt, no
Oh,
doubt.
gosh.
Hey, Tyler, tell us and our listeners where they can reach you at.
Yeah, just follow me on Facebook, man. Sports and Coastal Sports Media. Everything's on there. Podcast, all breaking news.
No doubt, no doubt.
Mm.
Hey, Tyler, man, we appreciate having you on, man, and thank you so much for doing this, for us.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Nah, no
Yeah,
problem, man.
I'm definitely going to tune into that podcast and get all that information because I didn't know it was that bad.
It's pretty bad, man. It's awful.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thank
we
y'all
appreciate
again,
it, Tyler.
man.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
y'all for having
Love.
me on.
No doubt,
Love.
no doubt. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.